Welcome to Black and Gold. You're here with Dr. Perry Kyles. Today's message: Black Americans desperately need their own advocacy. Not necessarily their own political party. Of course, that's against the law. And many of the problems that Black people, Black Americans face are at the hands of other Black people, as I will convey in this message today. But they need their own Black advocacy, even if that advocacy is itself is itself a political party. They need their own advocacy. The reason why Black Americans have no friends in politics, really no friends in social relations or religion, we are completely on our own. The Blacks who come to the United States from other places, they come from places that are highly tribalistic or thoroughly colonized. The Blacks who come from places that have been colonized, even though they're able to take advantage of opportunities and benefits because of their skin color, benefits that we fought for in politics and marching in every way. We fought for those benefits. Even though they're able to take advantage of those benefits, they see us more as competition. And it's almost an insult for them to be deferential to us unless there's something that we can do for them. Same with the Blacks who come from continental Africa. That tribalism, it's too strong. They don't mind being submissive to whites. And this is really interesting to see from a dispassionate person, an observer. It's really interesting to see how submissive they are to the whites, or even the reds, the browns, or the yellows. They really want acceptance from these people, but they have an antagonistic relationship with Black Americans. The reds, the yellows, the browns, all of these people come from places that are extremely racist. And an important part of all of this, a part that seldom comes out, is anti-blackness is 100% linked to pro-whiteness. That's a subject for a different video, but you don't have one without having the other. And both are extreme in the conscious and subconscious minds of many people. It's in their religion and it's in their hearts. Black Americans have no friends. No one has an affinity for Black Americans except a percentage of Black Americans and probably some white Americans. Now, how did this come to be where it's necessary for Black Americans to have their own political advocacy? And I'll say political party, but when I say political party, I don't mean that we should not allow people that are not Black Americans to be in this party. That's not what I mean. And as I said earlier, that even in itself is illegal. What I mean is simply a party, a lobby, or a combination of a party and a lobby that's designed to advocate for Black Americans. Since we have been able to vote in this country, we've had no friends. Before we were even free from slavery in this country, the so-called great emancipator, he himself said that if he could save the Union by preserving slavery, he would. So this was just a matter, the liberation, the freedom of the Blacks in America was just a matter of political expediency. It had nothing to do with the Republican opposition to the inhumanity that came along with slavery. Abraham Lincoln said that he wants to preserve the racial hierarchy with whites on top and Blacks at the bottom. After the Great Compromise of 1876, the Republican Party, they removed the troops from the South. And they knew that there would be indiscriminate violence against Black, extra-legal violence against Black by white citizens and sometimes white political officials, as the people who were a part of law enforcement also were a part of this. Even after the Democrats absorbed the black vote. There wasn't parity in terms of the way that the law was enforced. The law always consistently reinforced white supremacy. Even when the blacks were in the Democratic Party, when the blacks were a part of the Republican Party, still. During the New Deal, which was really a big part of the reason why blacks joined the Democratic Party, even during that time, was there parity in the way that the resources was distributed. No, blacks have never had true political representation by the Democratic Party or the Republican Party. This is why it's important for respect people who are proud to be black, not agents of white supremacy, true black Americans, not black Democrats, not black Republicans, not foreigners who hate black, but black Americans. This is why it's time for us to really establish a party and an advocacy that's committed to our own interests. Black leadership has been misleading the black population of this country. For example, the Congressional Black Caucus, the blacks who are in Congress. You become a part of the Congressional Black Caucus simply by being black. You can be a Republican, you can be a Democrat. You don't have to have any type of allegiance to the black community. As a matter of fact, their allegiance is to each other. It's to deal with their own issues as black legislators. They haven't gathered to deal with the issues of black people in this country. Just to give you an example, a person who I like, but who is not an ally, I respect her as a person, but do I respect her as a leader for a black, as a representative for the blacks? No, and that's Jasmine Crockett. And I saw Jasmine Crockett go into a black church and say, oh, well, you need to support the immigrants. You don't want to go and pick cotton. How many of you want to go and pick cotton? So how many immigrants have we seen picking cotton? Don't we see them driving commercial grade vehicles without a commercial license? Don't we see them doing all types of things? And I'm not saying all of them are that way. My point is that, for one, they are illegal immigrants. All of those millions of people who the Democrats let in, they let those people in to bolster their numbers, to create a larger class of people who support their agenda. Now, that's the subject for a different video. But when I see Jasmine Crockett in a black church telling people that we should support the immigrants, she's encouraging us to vote against our own interest. The illegal immigration, regardless of what any of us think about the Republicans or think about conservatives, be it Democratic or Republican conservatives, regardless of what you think about them, it's against the interests of black Americans to support these immigrants, the illegal immigrants. Legal immigration is a different story altogether. And that's the part that's missing from the discussion when you let a Jasmine Crockett or any of these representatives for the Democrats or the Republicans talk. The other side of that coin, as I mentioned earlier, these foreigners are extremely racist. And I've been to, I think, 12 different countries, in Africa, North America, the Caribbean, Asia, and Europe. I have been, 12 isn't a lot of countries, but I have, of those 12 I visited, as a good variety. And these people are racist to their heart. They're anti-black to their heart. And they bring it to America. And the biggest problem with them bringing it to America is that while they're anti-black, they are staunch white supremacists. It's in their heart. Once something is in your heart and in your spirit, it's beyond you being conscious of it. You have to really do some work to get rid of that. And these people, especially the ones that they're bringing in from Latin America, that is their mindset. How many times have we seen some clash that we've seen ourselves or we've seen on the internet or somewhere between a black American and some Latino person? The Latinos are the enemies of the Black Americans. They are not the allies of the Black Americans. As soon as somebody says to you, Black and Brown coalition, I can assure you that person is somehow receiving the benefits of this, using their melanin to perpetuate this deception of this supposed coalition. The preachers are also a part of this because they invite these Democratic and Republican politicians into their church. And a lot of them, most of them, they want to keep you on the plantation. They want to keep you in the mindset that you were born in sin. They're simply perpetuating the inferiority complex. The same religion that tells you you were born in sin is the same one that tells you directly or implicitly that Black is inferior and white is superior. I'll create a video one day to show you it explicitly. Hopefully it will make a difference. But in this video, I'm talking to the people who see that there's something wrong. Maybe you can put your finger on it. Maybe you can't exactly put your finger on it, but I'm pointing out, I'm explaining some things you've seen for yourself that you didn't quite understand, that you had an idea about, or maybe you didn't want to state it explicitly. I'm letting you know that there are other people out there who are thinking the exact same thing. Another within this group, the celebrities. The celebrities selling us up the road. Look at Kamala Harris, for example. Now, Kamala Harris said, oh, I ain't gonna do nothing solely for Black people. And then she tried to use her little Black accent, her little Black twang to when she made this statement. But they're doing things for all the other people. They're doing things for illegal migrants, illegal aliens. Call it what it is. They're doing things directly for them. They're doing things for the LGBTQ plus community. And I'm not saying that that's bad, but they all agree to do something directly and specifically for every other interest except respectful Black American people. And the Kamala Harris situation to me was a travesty. Now, if Michelle had run as the Democratic candidate, I think the Democrats probably would have won. But they chose this woman who's talking about she's cooking, she made collard greens in the bathtub. I've never seen anything like that in my life. How do you cook collard greens? Stop this video. Write it in the comments. How do you clean the collard greens? You either clean them in a big pot, or you clean the area in the kitchen very well. That sink, you clean it very well, and then you wash them there. No, I've never seen anybody, black, red, orange, pink, or blue, clean any food in the bathtub. Maybe it's a Caribbean thing, which is where she's supposedly from, or a Canadian thing, which we can verify that she's from, but it's not a Black American thing. The ministers, the performers, like the celebrities and such, the Black politicians have sold us out big time. The issues that we are having to deal with directly, that should be at the forefront of the rhetoric that they give, or at the forefront of their actions. But it's not. They're concerned with the interests of illegal aliens, and they're concerned with this because it's the Democratic agenda. Or if they're a Black Republican, they just they walk in lockstep with the Republican agenda. Now, I know a lot of you love Jasmine. I like Jasmine too. She's a sister girl. I grew up around the sister girls, and I have stood up for Black women when the cameras were not on, for Black girls and boys when the camera was not on in my daily life. That's a part of who I am. I don't believe in inhumanity towards anybody, but my true allegiance is to Black America. One, I'm a part of that group. Two, and the opportunities that I've had in my life, it is because of the other Black American people that were around me. So my allegiance is to my own people, whereas the political representatives, their allegiance is not to their own people. So the consequence of this, we're dealing with the same issues. And before we get to things like government grants, blacks get like 1.7% of government grants. To me, the primary issue is the legal system, or the just us system, not the justice system, the just us system. To me, that's the number one issue. Blacks get 19% more time than whites for the exact same crime. And that line of discussion deserves its own video. What I am mentioning is just the tip of the iceberg. It's just one detail from a whole body of literature that proves that we have unjust legal system. So what's the answer? The answer is an advocacy specifically for Black Americans. I know because of that third world mindset. Let's call it what it is. That third world mindset, the inability to see beyond your own family, beyond your own tribe, right? Beyond your own nationality, beyond your own class. The many of these people who come to America have an inability to see beyond selfishness, and they bring those old third world values with them. Oh, can I get away with it? Well, I'll try my best to get away with it. I'm okay with white supremacy as long as there's someone beneath me. That's their mindset. We're seeing the decline of the American empire, and instead of having a middle class, the middling whites, the people from other countries, they don't care as long as they're not the person at the bottom. Social capital is important. I can understand in that sense where they're coming from. A lot of times social capital is more important than finance. So what do we do about it? We establish our own advocacy/political party. And if any of those people want to support our advocacy and our political party, it would be wise of them to do so. We are the true canaries in the coal mine. We're the true indicators of the civility of the country, right? The rule of law as opposed to the rule of man. I think I've made my perspective clear. In subsequent videos. I'll get to how we might go about establishing that political party. But what I wanted to convey today is why we should truly be looking at establishing our own political advocacy. Thank you. It's your brother, Dr. Kyles. Subscribe to the channel.